Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming out. Great to see you. What makes this the right time to be telling the story of the Eagle?
You want that? You start. I'm trying to figure out how to use this microphone.
Hello, check.
Go ahead.
Well, it's been 42 years. You know, we figured we better get it done if we're going to do it. You know, everything could come to a screeching halt tomorrow. You know. But we just thought it was time. You know, it's an intuitive thing.
I mean, a lot of it, you know, when we watch this small clip here, we see a lot of discussion about the creative process and sort of what you went through. How much did you want that to be a part of this film?
Well, you know, I mean, this is a film that was made by Allison Elwood and Alex Gibney. You know, and the first thing you do in a collective artistic venture is surround yourself with talent. And I think we made very good choices, and we're really happy with the film. But it's really not a film that presents our point of view so much. It's really a film about us. And, you know, I think one of the things that's interesting is we have not overexposed in the last 42 years. And so I think there's a lot that's been left to people's imagination, which is wonderful because imagination is a powerful ally for any artist. But for us, I think it's an opportunity to sort of give people a little bit of a view of, you know, what it was like to be running around the country during the 1970s, making records and having hit records.
Growing up in public.
Yeah, and growing up in public.
I think one of the great things is, of course, once we see you guys join the band, and it's ferociously popular as you are, can you talk a little bit about sort of what made you want to join the band, and perhaps you look at how the band changed at that point?
Well, I actually was a fan, and we had the same manager, so for a while we kind of all lived in the same car, and
You lived in my car.
yeah, I know. Yeah. I thought that the harmonies, the voices of the Eagles would be really powerful with some rock and roll lead guitar behind them. I really wanted to play guitar, you know, in a band that sang like that. So just things happened, like stuff happens, and I ended up getting a chance to join, and that's why I'm here.
Joe had done a lot of guest appearances with us. He would just show up and we'd put him inside of a road case and wheel him out on stage. And he'd pop out of the face like a girl popping out of the birthday cake, cake. And that was fun. So, you know, we all knew each other already.
Yeah, we had, you know, Joe produced a record for Dan Fogelberg that we all went down and sang on, and, you know, we'd known Timothy for a long time too. We all went to the same clubs, and, you know, we all sort of knew each other. But Timothy, why did you want to join the Eagles?
Why wouldn't I? I was at the end of my tenure with the band Poco, and I was actually wondering what my future was going to be, and I got a phone call from Glenn one morning, and I pretty much, you know, it seemed like a perfect fit for them and for me, and I just kind of said, yes, let's do that. And it was really that simple.
And then we broke up.
Shocking, it really was.
We had some great solo records from all of you in there. There's somebody to take some questions from the audience out here in the press. Anyone?
Was it ever an uncomfortable experience to look back on some of that stuff, to see some, I understand you had this footage that was sort of locked in a vault somewhere for many years. Was it ever sort of unsettling to sort of see what you guys have been through, some of the rock records?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry?
Can you tell me what it was like, the process, like seeing that again after so many years?
Well, you want to do that?
Well, you know, it's We've sort of been reliving our lives for the last 2 years as we've all worked on this record. I think it's interesting when we finally started to unearth all of this archival footage and Super 8 with sound and rides in limousines and all this stuff. What I was really surprised about was, and what I was reminded of, was how much fun we had. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better script, for a bunch of young musicians in their 20s that were, trying to make it in the music business, and what happened to us. We were young, we made mistakes, we still make mistakes, but, this story is it's the story of an American band, but it's also sort of a story of the songs we wrote and what those songs did to you guys and ultimately also did to us. But we're here because everybody likes the songs.
Can I ask how much control you had over the film as far as what the final edit was going to be?
0. I think that was part of the deal going in with Alex and with Allison, was that, they were going to set out to tell the truth, tell the story, and, we might have had suggestions about, a cut here or a shot here or there, but in terms of the overall scope of the movie, we let them make their film.
We're seeing the final cut tonight for the first time. It's good. I hope we like it.
Why was Alex Gibney the right person to attach to this film?
When we started doing this, working on this about 2.5 years ago, people in our management office sent me a bunch of reels of people who had done musical biography documentaries. And to tell you the truth, I was really left wanting. And so I called him back and I said, why don't you just send me the reels on the guys who were nominated for the Academy Award for Best Documentary? So that's what they did. And when I looked at the reels, Alex's work just jumped off the face of the computer to me. It was so riveting. And, so maybe it was sort of surprising mix, that Alex Gibney, who did Taxi to the Dark Side and Enron, would be telling the story of the Eagles. But, I think we have a good story, and I think he's a great storyteller.
One element that's in the film, you talk about, working with Lynn Johns and then moving on to Bill. Were you pleased with the production of the first 3 albums?
No, we were disappointed, but we were young and naive, and we didn't know as much as we know now, or what we knew after making a couple of records. It happened the way it happened, but we were always trying to find ways to get better, ways to make things better, ways to push the boulder up the mountain.
I know there were hands up.
Yeah, so to what degree were you guys sort of sitting down with that? I mean, what was your process with working with the directors, working with Gibney? And did you sit down with them to sort of just, what was working with them?
I flew to New York and asked to have a meeting with Alex, and so we got together and talked. And, I think that probably the essence of the meeting was sort of, from his perspective, was probably, why should I do this? And then from my perspective, it was, because I think it's a really good story, and I think there was a tremendous amount of struggle and effort and heart, and, and again, it's sort of the story of the times. It's, it's a story of an American band. So we had this conversation, and he said, okay, but he says, we're going to make a movie, and we're going to tell the truth. And I said, that's the way we want to do it. So then we started funneling to Allison and Alex all of the footage that we had accrued, over the years, and also then we came up with a list of people that we thought would be people that needed to be interviewed to help us tell the story. And then we went about doing the interviews, and all of a sudden I guess back in August, they had a rough cut of part 1. That's the first time we started to see it as it came together.
You brought this idea to them because you thought the time was right for it?
Yes.
Another thing that interested Alex was the context, again, the music scene in Los Angeles, in California during the late 60s and the 70s. You know, that's all part of the story, is the context and what was going on in the country and at that time.
Is there anything specific in the film that you think people would just be really surprised to learn about you guys and what you experienced that, you know, even really diehard fans may not know?
How funny Joe Walsh is would be definitely one of the things. You know, it's you know, like I said before, we really had a lot of fun. You know, we were serious about our work and serious about where we were going, but we had a lot of fun. And Joe's in particular a very funny guy.
Most of the things that have been written about this band have focused on conflict. You know, we call it the journalism of conflict, which sells papers and magazines. But one thing that Glenn said that people will see in this documentary is that we had a lot of fun. You know, some of it's not on film, and that's good. but a lot of it is. So.
Yeah, the bitter fighting that the media love to talk about, it really didn't take place. We argued a lot. You know, we discussed stuff a lot, and that tension had a lot to do with the creative process. But when all of us were nodding yes, we knew we had something good. And so one thing I think that the film shows is the camaraderie that was there. And really, I hope everybody sees that we didn't hate each other, we didn't have fist fights, none of that.
You know, and we also had a great circle of friends. You know, that particular time hanging out at the Troubadour Bar and being there when Jackson Browne and J.D. Souther and Linda Ronstadt and Joni Mitchell and Crosby, Stills and Nash and Neil Young and many others were all around in that scene, as I've said many times. It was a great time to be in a young band, you know, trying to make it. And everyone, we were very helpful with each other too. We sang on each other's albums. We helped write songs for each other's albums. We, you know, we did a lot together.
We got each other out of jail
a couple times.
There was a lot of footage there was a film that was begun back in 1977 that they covered a whole tour. What was it like having that shot and then going back, because there was extensive multi-track recording as well?
Well, you know, it's very telling. You know, I think at the time you know, we wanted to get some things recorded and some film on the band and you know, something documentary. We were very lucky. You know, we knew the filmmaker was named Vicki Hochberg. We had Haskell Wetzler was the DP for the days that we shot in Washington, and you know, so it was interesting. And for me, it was interesting to watch the interviews of us at that time, just to sort of see, you know what I mean, to see where everybody's head was at and what's going on.
We were very private, you know, and we didn't allow a lot of access to outside, you know, to the press or to outside people. We tried to keep it all in-house, but we did have the foresight to get some filming done and to get some backstage inside stuff, which is, you know, all in this documentary.
Did you play a role in how the music sounds in film?
Yes, we've been remixing our career for 5.1 for the last few months. But you know, that was another interesting process for us. You know, to unearth and go back and listen to the original 16/24 tracks of you know, our early albums and go through and listen to some of the album cuts that maybe we hadn't listened to for a while. And you know, you discover after going, yes, we worked very hard on the mixing, and we feel that this is going to be one of the best sounding films of its kind.
Our sound geniuses are here today to make sure that everything goes just like it should.
Yeah.
Won't it, guys?